All right, well, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Lorrie Roussin. I'm the middle school librarian in San Antonio at Luna Middle School. Um, and I'm just gonna go ahead and share my screen.
We're almost there.
Okay.
Almost there. There you go.
Thank you. Okay. All right, can everybody see my screen or no?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, so I'm going to talk to you today about Sketchnotes. Sketchnotes has been around for quite a while, almost 10 years, I think. And I'm going to talk to you about using Canva with Sketchnotes. The thing is, when I first learned about Sketchnotes, I panicked because I do not know how to draw. I am completely horrible at it. And I know that you might have students who are anxious about that as well. And so I came across Canva, and Canva is perfect for Sketchnotes. But let's start with what are Sketchnotes. So Sketchnotes are a visual note-taking method that helps you retain information and organize ideas. There's so many benefits to Sketchnotes. They improve memory retention, they make learning more engaging and more active, and they help students organize information in a visual way. So this is what traditional sketch notes look like. It's usually a 2-page spread in a notebook. Some of us use reading notebooks, and that would be a way to do sketchnoting. It is a lot of drawing, or if a student doesn't know how to draw, it's not like a prerequisite that they're great artists or anything like that. They can just use what's at hand and what skills they have. But I was always intimidated a little bit because then I would see something like this first sketch on the left, cultural humility, and I'm like, I can't do that. I'm just awful at that. And so I wanted to have a way for students who weren't inclined to do any drawing and didn't know how to do that, to give them an option to do digital sketch notes. So you're going to combine text and images to enrich and enhance reading comprehension and retention. So Canvas is great for that. It has a user-friendly interface. There are a wide range of pre-designed templates, and I'm going to share some of those with you. Plus, there's millions of elements that students can incorporate into their sketch notes. And of course, it's accessible on any type of device. Please let me know if I'm going a little too fast. Okay, so I'm going to show you a few templates that Canva already has in the program that you can get students started with. You can also start from scratch, and I'm going to show you what that looks like as well. And we'll talk about adding text and formatting text. We'll talk about images, we'll talk about elements, and applying colors and backgrounds. So I'm going to get out of the presentation for just a moment. And I am going to go to my demo flyer. And I'm going to also show you the templates. Someone has created some great templates. I'm having a moment with my, it's not loading, for just give me a moment, please. See if I can get it to load. I had everything up. It was just fine. All right, let me just go back into Canva. Now, Canva has a pro account, and if you're an educator, you can sign up with your school email. Most of you probably already have a Canva account and use it regularly, but if you don't, you can go in and canva.com log in with your school account with your email, and then you'll get access to all of the pro features. So normally I usually go into presentation, or I use Flyer to create my sketch notes. But I'm also just going to type in sketch notes into the search bar, and it comes up with a bunch of templates. I've linked to a few of these in the presentation, and I will show you where that presentation is housed so that you can access the presentation and all of the resources that I'm sharing with you today. So if you want to start students off with a template and walk them through sketchnoting, you have a variety of templates to choose from. You've got this very colorful one. What you can do is customize the template for yourself. And if you want to share it with students, you could click the share button. Can everybody see my Canvas screen? I just need I'm hoping everybody can see that. Anyway.
Yes, we can see it.
Perfect. So when you click the share button and you go down, let me just move this up here to more, you're going to find the template link right here and copy it. You can share the link in Schoology, Canvas, Google Classroom, virtually any LMS that you might be using. Those are the big three that I know of. And when you share the link, the students make their own, it becomes their own template, and then they can work in the template. So you have several options that students can just write in here. So I'm going to show you that you have the text feature on the, you've got this control panel to your left in Canva. So you can add a heading, a subheading, or you can even choose a different style of font. There's a lot of styles here that you can choose from. But once you've chosen your subheading, you can add your title. So if I did something, I did a sketch note, I'm going to show you a little bit later too, on Dusty Bowling's The Canyon's Edge. So they can put their title and you can move it, to the top, and you have all of these buttons at the top so that you can make it small or however you want, however the student wants to express their creativity. If I wanted to do something from scratch, so I'm just going to go down here and add a page that's empty. One of the great things about Canva is their Elements panel, but it is very overwhelming. But if you click on Elements, and in the search bar, you can type direction, and you get all of these graphics on direction. So if you're asking students to make connections, let's say you're asking them to look for conflict within the novel, man versus man, man versus environment, whatever you want to do, they can use these directional images. Okay, and then you can actually type in boxes, or you can actually type in sketch notes here as well. And now you can connect from one aspect to another, which for your more artistic students who like to do this on paper, this is what they would draw by hand. But in the Canyon's Edge, there are a lot of desert animals. So if I typed in, scorpion, then I could, she's in conflict with her with nature, and I can add my text box. So students have a wide variety of choices here, but you want to start small because again, it is overwhelming with everything they have. I'm going to go back to my presentation briefly. And I'm going to go ahead and show you. Here we go. That I searched by Sketchnote. So I have the boxes. I searched by direction. And then I searched by character. You can search by fiction. And then you can search by genre, science fiction, mystery, fantasy, depending on what the genre is that they're reading. Referring back to the presentation we just had, you can use this with nonfiction as well. I'm going to just check the chat real quick.
You had some questions in the Q&A too.
Oh, okay. Okay, so students do not really need to have a Canva account, but you can create classes in Canva, but you have to add their email. So if you can actually work within the Canva area, but you should not need, I mean, they should not need to have an account to access the template. Yes, you can link a Canva document into Book Creator. I believe you can also embed, but I have not tried that yet. In Canva, do students need to create an account? Okay, so when you, I'll show you briefly what that looks like. So if I go home, well, I've got my class here. And then you can have students, you can invite members down here. You see this little plus sign? And then I can invite or send a link or a code to a student to access the class. And then they're going to appear, see, like I've got, see if I can show you. I'm on Christy's team. So I've worked, and you should be able to see what students are doing within this dashboard. That's actually a whole nother class, is to create classes for students in Canva. All right, so anyway, you can use any of these. Let me see if I can get back to it. Let me move this box right here. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, I've got these tools. How do I get the students to use, how do I get the students to create what I need for them to create? Okay, let me go back to, I think I just lost my presentation, but that's okay, I can find it again. Here we go. So now you have to tell the students what to look for in their presentation. And I'm going to go ahead and jump to that real quick. So you were going to start by choosing a book. At this point, and whatever they want to choose, that is part of our thing as librarians, to give them student choice. And so they can choose a book of their like, and then start by reading and start making connections with the text. You can use symbols, images, and colors to visually represent concepts, and you can keep sketch notes simple and easy to read at a glance. These sketch notes can also be, printed out if you want to print out the template to give to a student, and then they can write in if you want to start with something very, very basic. But Kelly Gallagher and Peggy Kittle have put together a cheat sheet of sorts. So here's some Sketchnotes tips. And it gives you some basic shapes and icons that you can start students with. And then here are some things to track. Here's some questions to guide your students in the art of sketchnoting, whether you're doing that in the traditional sense or you are doing that digitally. So you can take bits and pieces of this and start building with students on how to sketchnote. So it doesn't have to be all overwhelming and in their face, like read 200 pages and do a sketch note spread on this. We don't want to do that. That would scare students to pieces. So you might want to start with something very, very simple. And again, Penny Kittle and Kelly Gallagher, this information comes from 180 Days, 2 Teachers in the Quest to Engage and Empower Adolescents. And I've included this as well for you to reference back. Are there any questions on that piece?
Yeah, it looks like there's some questions in the Q&A, and it's regarding Kelly Gallagher's resource. For everyone, just so you know, there's going to be a one-pager for all of the presenters' resources and links and so forth that will be shared out at a later date. I should say later date, but hopefully within the next 24 hours once everyone contributes to it. So we will have something for you.
Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and I will put this in the chat for you. Okay. So I have been working on Sketchnotes just to improve how I do it and how to understand it so that I can explain it to students. And so I'll show you what I did with the Canyon's Edge. And the Beatles songs play a big role in the book. Well, maybe not a huge role, but it was something that I noticed. And that's kind of what we're trying to communicate to kids. Okay, what do you notice? What do you relate to? How does it make your understanding of the book better? And so this is what I started with. This was the first time I did it. This was my first page. By the time, this is the first 3.5 chapters of the book, because I broke it down. I didn't do it all at once. I did it by different sections. And then I started to really dig deep a little bit. So I started looking at conflict, man versus nature. And this is all of the things that the character Nora faces in the book as she goes through the canyon. And then, she's got some inner turmoil that she's facing. And so then I have a different conflict. And now I have like a 1-page encapsulation of conflict in the novel. And then these are the ideas I gathered completely from the novel. These are big themes that I took from the novel. This quote from the book was something that resonated with me, and it showed her resilience and her bravery and how to overcome obstacles, because the outside conflict she was facing helped her to fight the inner conflict that she's been feeling. And then I found some things in the book that I wanted to highlight, and so I put them in here. So you could combine this with book snaps if that's something you wanted to do. Book snaps, basically what you do is you take a snapshot, a literal snapshot, of a page in a book, and then you can highlight and circle and add Bitmojis or whatever you would like to do there. So I have a bunch of resources here. There are articles on why Sketchnotes are useful and needed for students. There are also some visual guides to note taking. I have all of these resources plus the presentation on my Wakelet. So if you wanted to refer to that, I'm going to put the Wakelet link in the chat. And then you have access to everything that I've talked about, all of the examples, the templates, and things like that. Right under here, all things Canva, Sketchnotes Unleashed. So that when you open that, you've got the presentation, the templates, the resources, Canva tips, and Sketchnote guidelines, which I actually shared in the chat if you saw that. And hopefully I'll be adding more to this. Did the link not pop in, Rachel? Let me try that again. Okay. I just put it in the chat twice. Let me check that.
I see it, it opened.
Okay, how about that? Okay. So I'm also going to go ahead and open up that 2-pager by Gallagher. The link. And I'm going to put that in the chat as well. Okay. I didn't judge the time, so there's quite a few minutes left. Does anybody have any questions and want to unmute or put in the chat? Because I'm looking at that now. You can find me on social media, and go ahead and go back to that first page. I'm Bibliotrekkie, so you can find me on Instagram and Threads. I am still on Twitter under Bibliotrekkie, but I'm trying to make the shift over to Threads. Let's see. Have I ever done this with elementary students? No, I have not. I was an elementary librarian 20 years ago before Sketchnotes was a thing, so I haven't done it. But with them, what I would do is probably print something out and let them kind of start. But you can also show them some Canva things, and maybe they just play with the images and not worry so much about text. Especially if you're thinking about 1st and 2nd grade, maybe. I don't know if this would, work with anybody under that. All right, well, I would like to extend my thanks to Casey for letting me participate and do this for you. I hope you found it helpful, and if you need any help or have any questions later on, please feel free to reach out to me. And thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
No, thank you, Lorrie. This was very interesting. I learned a lot in this session. And since I have middle schoolers, 6th grade, obviously, would be able to handle this. So this was something that maybe we can tackle together. Hey, look, everybody, give Lorrie some love in the chat. Let her know how you feel about her presentation. Go over to social media, do the same. Use the Boss Librarian hashtag. And again, like I said, all resources that you and links and so forth to presentations or things that you really liked in these presentations are going to be on a 1-pager, and they will be shared out very soon. So again, many thanks to you, Lorrie. Appreciate you.
Thank you.